Vayovoy Avrom lispod lesoro. In the Medrash Rabbo, meheichen bo, from where did Avrom come? Rabbi Levi and Rabbi Yossi. Amachloikes. Rabbi Levi says he came from the Kvuro from Terah, his father. And from Terah he went to be koiver Soro, his wife. And also Bakol, his daughter. Omar lei Rabbi Yossi, behaloi kevuroso shel Terah kodmo le kevuroso shel Soro shtei shonim. Don't we know that Terah was nifter, died 2 years before Soro? Elo meheichen bo, Haran Moiriyo. He came from Yerushalayim. That's why the Parsha to Akedah is right next to the Parsha of the Tiras of Soro. Rabbi Levi is Mistami, the Tate of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. And Rabbi Yosei is Rabbi Yosei ben Chalaftot, the Mechaber of Sefer Seder Hu'olam. The Chido in Sefer in Bnei David, Beshem Maharash Parmoi, brings a peledike machloikes between Rabbi Levi and Rabbi Yosei. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, of Samech Tesomet Beis, the beginning of Perek ben Soire Rumoire, Doires Rishonim betamnya oilit. And the Friedike Doires, people used to give birth when they turned 8 years old. When the father became 8 years old, he already had a son. The Gemara says, how do you know that? From Haran. Terah had 3 sons, Avraham, Nochor, and Haran. And Posik says, Terah became 70 when he was moidlit Avraham, Nochor, and Haran, which means that Avraham was older than Nochor, and Nochor was older than Haran. Now, who was Avraham's father-in-law? His youngest brother, Haran. Soro got married to her uncle Avraham. How old was Avraham when Soro was born? 10 years old. The Posuk says very clearly, Vayipol Avraham al ponov vayitzchok vayomer v'liboy haleben meya shono yivoled ve'im Soro habas tish'im shonot heleit. Chazal say this is the mekor that we know that Avraham was 10 years older than Soro. Yitzchak was born when Avraham turned 100 and Soro turned 90. So the difference between Avraham and his niece Soro was only 10 years. What was the difference between Haran and his daughter Soro? 8 years. You see, from here the Gemara says that the Doiros Rishonim used to give birth at the age of 8 years old. So the Gemara says, maybe not. Maybe there is no Rai from there. Maybe Haran was older than Avraham, 2 years. Comes out that Haran was 12 years old when he became a father. But where do we know that he was 8 years old? And why the Torah says Avraham, Nochor, and Haran? Because that's the Seder of the Chochmah, the Fi Chochmosom. Haran was older, and Nochor too. But Avraham was the smartest. Avram, Nochor, and Haran, that's the Seder of the Chochmah. Avram was the biggest Chocham. Where do we find that? The Gemara says, who was older? Shem, Chom, or Yofes? Yofes Achi Agodol. Yofes was the oldest. So why does it say Shem? Because Shem was the smartest. Avram came out from Shem. Yofes was the oldest, but he's considered the last one. He wasn't as smart as Shem and as Chom. So the Gemara, the Choyrov, comes out a machloikes now, if Haran was 8 years old when he gave birth to Soro, or he was 12 years old when he gave birth to Soro. The machloikes is the seder of the names are lefi leidoson or lefi chochmoson. The first shita that holds that Haran gave birth to Soro when he was 8 years old comes out that Terah died right before Soro was nifter, in the same year. Let's make a cheshbon. And Posuk says that Terah was 70 years old when his children were all born. If Avram was born first, so Terah was 68 years old. Terah lived 205 years, like it says in Posuk. Vayiyu yemei Serach chomesh shonim umosayim shono vayomos Terah bechoron. How old was Avram that year? Let's make a simple cheshbon. Terah was 68 when Avraham was born. He was 205 when he died. 205 minus 68 is 137. Avram was 137. Sora was 10 years younger, 127. That's when she was nifter. So the first shita is Levi. Levi's shita is that Avraham came from the kvura of his father Terah to the kvura of his wife Soro. And the same thing his daughter Bakol. He lost his father, his wife, and his daughter, one after another. The Odom and the Omer holds Avraham was the youngest. So Avraham was born when Terah was 70. So comes out by the Petiro of Terah, Avraham was not 137, but 135. That's what he says. Rabbi Yosei, Haloi kevuroso shel Terah kodmo lekvuroso shel Soro shtei shonim. So it comes out beautifully that the machloikis between Rabbi Levi and Rabbi Yossi is the machloikis in Masechta Sanhedrin, whether we can learn the klal that Doiros Rishonim gave birth by the age of 8 from Haran. One says you can learn from Haran, and Haran was the youngest, and the other one says no, Haran was the oldest, and Abraham was the youngest. So at Levi, Abraham was 137 when Soro was nifter, and that same year his father was nifter. He came from the Kvuras Terah to the Kvuras Soro. And Rabbi Yossi holds no, they were 2 years apart. The Gemara says that Doiros Rishonim were moilit b'nei ches. We learn it out from Achitofel. He was 8 years old when his son Eliam was born. And Eliam was 8 years old when his daughter Bathsheba was born. Now Bathsheba had a son, and that son was nifter. And then the second son was born. That son was Shlomo Melech. When Shlomo turned 7 years old, Achitofel committed suicide. He was 33 years old when he died. If you make the cheshbon, at 33 years old, he already had a great-grandson, 7 years old. The Gemara makes a cheshbon that he was at least 8 years old when his son was born, and his son was at least 8 years old when Bathsheba was born. Why did he commit suicide? Achitofel was a very smart person. He was the yoyetz of David HaMelech, and David HaMelech eventually became his grandson-in-law, which means David HaMelech took Bathsheba, the granddaughter of Achitofel. David HaMelech was in his 60s when he took Bathsheba, and Bathsheba was a girl of 6-7 years old. Something happened that Achitofel turned against David HaMelech. Bathsheba was previously married to Uriah Achiti. David HaMelech saw beruach HaKodesh that Bathsheba belongs to him. Vayhi le'eis ho'erev, vayokom David ma'al mishkovo, vayishalech al gag beis HaMelech, vayar isho roichetzes me'al hagog, veho'isho toivas mar'ei me'oit. Aloi zois Bathsheba, bas Aliyam, ben Achitofel, eishes Uriah Achiti, vaykacheo, vatovo elov, yishkov imo, vatahar. And David HaMelech sent Uriah Achiti to the Before the Milchoma, they have to write a get to their wives. Once Bathsheba got a get, David HaMelech took Bathsheba secretly for a wife. He ordered Uriah Achiti to get killed in the middle of the Milchoma. This way, the gate becomes Chal Lemafreya, and he was not over any Isur. He was sent in front of the wall, and somebody threw a stone into his head. So David HaMelech was able to take Bathsheba without a problem. She was already Meuberes from David HaMelech. Nusan Hanovi calls David HaMelech, and he asks him a shaila about a certain Ushir who took away the Kivso Achas from Uni, and David HaMelech paskins that he's Chayev Misa. Nusan Hanovi said, you are the Ushir, and Uriah Achito is the Uni. You took away Bathsheba. Your oinish is that the child that she's Meuberes from you is going to die. Koi Omar Hashem, Hineni Meikim Olecho Ro'o Mi Beisecho, Velokachti Es Neishecho Leinecho, Venosati Lereiecho, Veshochaf Ibnoshecho, Leine Hashemesh Hazois. Omar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Koshe Tarbus Ro'o Besoch Beiso Shel Odom, Yoiser Mimilchemes Goig Umogoig. Mizmor LeDavid Beborchu Bebnei Avsholom Benoi. Mizmor LeDavid, Kino LeDavid Miboelei. Omar Rabbi Shimon ben Avishuloim, Moshe Lemahado Bardoime, LeOdom Shiyotzo Olov Shtarchoi, Hoidem Shepor Oi, Hoyo Otsev, LeAchar Shepor Oi, Someach. Af Ken David, Kivon Shomer Loi, HaKodosh Baruchu, Hineni Mekim Olecho Ro'o Beisecho hoyo otze Omar Shema Evet o Mamzer de lo choyes alai kivon de chozo de Avsholom hu somach shum hochi Omar Mizmor. David HaMelech did tshuva the ma'aseh of Bathsheba at kedei kacha the Gemara says kol ho oimer David choto eno elo toye, and he did it betzino. The oin is going to be that Avsholom is going to take your 10 pilakshim and be mezane berabim. He said it beremizo bekachabe. Achitofel turned against David, and he became the yoyetz of Avsholom, the son of David HaMelech. And he told the Eitzah how to kill his father. First, he gave him the Eitzah to take the 10 pilakshim of David HaMelech, and he should be boiled berabim. This way, he shows that he's the Melech. And then he should go in Milchoma against his father right away. Hushai told Avsholom that even though Achitofel gives good eitzes, this time he's wrong. And Hushai's kavona was to give time for David HaMelech to build up his army. Achitofel saw that his eitzah to kill David didn't work, so he committed suicide. So the Gemara says there is no raya from Achitofel that he was 8 years old. Could be he was 9 years old. But Bathsheba was 6 years old when she gave birth to her children. Maybe a girl could give birth by 6 years old. But to say that a boy can give birth less than 9, we cannot bring a raya from Achitofel. That's what the Gemara says. So the Gemara goes away from that raya. So from where do we know that Doris Rishonim gave birth ben Shmoino? The Gemara says we learn it from Kolev. Kolev was 8 years old when he took his wife Aziva, and he had a daughter. When he was 9 years old, he took a wife called Yerios. When he was 10 years old, Yerios died, and he took a wife, Efrat. That year, Chur was born from Efrat. When he turned 18, Chur gave birth to Uri at the age of 8. When Chur turned 8, Betzalel was born. When Betzalel turned 13, he built the Mishkan. When he turned 14, next year, the Meraglim were sent. At that time, Kolev was 40 years, like the Posuk says. So when Kolev was 8, he gave birth, 9, 10. When he turned 18, he already had a grandson. By 26, Betzalel, his great-grandson, was born. By 39, Betzalel, his great-grandson, becomes Bar Mitzvah, and he builds the Beis HaMikdash. And next year, when he turns 40, he becomes one of the Meraglim. And 40 years later, when he turns 85, he is Kovesh Eretz Yisrael, and he gets Kiryas Arba.